G'day patrons, it's Chris and I hope you're well. Apologies for the lack of content this week. I've been busy writing the piece on the IPCC report, which I want to talk about for a little bit, but focus more on a bit of a conundrum I'm having, I guess. So at the moment, that essay, shall we call it, is about 3,000 words and I'm trying to get it down to 10 minutes, which means about 2,000 words. So it's too long, but yet not even complete, and that's a worry because audience retention for my videos is anywhere from 8 to 10 minutes, and I don't want people to tune out because it's an important subject. I'm trying to make it positive as much as possible, but we need to observe the findings on this paper and talk about its implications, impact, and what we can do about it. You know, this week there's been a few things that have happened that I really want to actually get out and do publicly. But, you know, stories like this report, they take a lot of time and effort to actually research and get behind and understand. Like for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I've done 2, 3, 4, 5. I've done about 15 hours of research so far, and it's still not complete. And people don't appreciate, I think, how much goes into doing a video that is both engaging, well researched, gets down to the point, because this is a 4,000 page document. A lot of it, let's say, is not actually pertinent to Australia, but we're talking about climate change here, so it's actually a global topic. Then of course we've got our Neanderthal politicians, Angus Taylor and Scott Morrison, who said a lot of garbage this week, saying it's a serious paper and they're taking it seriously, and they've said the word serious many times, but they again have not committed to any targets. So I've also got to call them out on them. It's been frustrating that I want to do this and this, but you know, I just can't. I really can't. And it got me thinking, the news episodes that I do, they're taking also a lot of time and effort, and I'm finding that the viewership, the number of views per video, is pretty consistent. Let's say 250, 350, 450 per video on average. But what excites me doesn't necessarily excite others. And I'm not gaining many subs from these videos. In fact, I'm actually losing subs in my news. And if they're on topic or they're about Tesla, they get views. And both take time, both take effort. Doing a Tesla news article versus a, let's say, Audi e-tron or a VW ID3, they equally take as much effort. But because people are just fascinated and want to eat everything and consume everything around Tesla, you get this, whereby people just tune in and click those videos, anything and everything about Tesla, and I'm saddened to say, I think they're ignoring everything else that's happening in this world. And that's frustrating for me because you can see the dollar value. The reward is not there. The views aren't there. The education, the sharing of information, it's not happening. And that's what I want to do. I want to transform people's thinking around renewables, electric vehicles, and more. And if I'm not getting views, I'm not getting that transformation from people. And monetary-wise also, there's, you know, if I'm putting in 10 to 16 hours, depending on how long the news is for the week, and to get back just literally $2 or not even $1.50 for all those hours of work is ridiculous. So I'm very grateful to you guys in supporting the work that I do. So I'm thinking, and I love your thoughts on this. Maybe I'll do a poll. I'll think about that. If this is posted with a poll, please do answer the poll. I'm thinking of just doing news only for Patreon, okay? And then public will be topical stories and items, and obviously Tesla clickbait stuff. Because it's actually real. If it's a story about Tesla and it's happening now and it's in that domain that I'm trying to cover, I'll cover it. But I'm just thinking, yeah, I'm going to do just news only for here. What do you think? So this Monday, I'm going to release the MG ZS EV review. I'm going to do just a few pickups tomorrow. That's Sunday. Yeah, that'll be Sunday. So that the Monday video is a bit more polished, better polished. I'll talk about that another time. But Yeah, I think there's got to be some trade-off here, and I think the trade-off is that if I'm to grow the channel, if I'm to do what I want to do in terms of, again, get more people interested and active and engaged with, reducing our impact on the world, converting to electric vehicles and, electrifying everything. I want them to see those videos, but if they're not going to be watching them, I'm not going to bother making them. Yeah, I think that's a fair statement. I watched a video this week from Nikki from Transport Evolved, and they talked about how the logo and how the team and how the mission is being transforming over time. They started out doing news and then other stuff, and now they're doing, and I think this is just this channel's natural progression. I've been doing news now for 2.5+ years, and this year I've given a good hard go. But I just don't feel I'm getting the viewers that I would appreciate, and so yeah. What do you think? It's demoralizing. It is disheartening, and I felt kind of bad, in myself. In that, am I not doing something right? Is my content not right? What is it about that I could improve? And yeah, I think my delivery is better, scripting is better, visuals are better. But if it's not about Tesla, they don't care, and that's disappointing to me. So yeah, let me know. You can tell I'm demoralized, but I'll pick up my game. So this is going to be just a news only episode for you guys. This won't go public, and I do hope you enjoy it. So let's go. EV sales are up in June. We saw a massive shipment of Tesla Model 3s hit our shores, and in the UK, I guess the same thing is happening over there too. 2,892 new MGs who recently arrived. In this shipment, a quarter of the cars actually contained, 26% of them, 723 or so, were the new long-range MG5 EV. And it's made its debut in the UK in the last month, and interestingly from this graphic, we've learned that MG has sold almost 800 ZS EVs in the first half of this year alone. Exciting stuff. And if we trust Veta Prime, Tesla is selling as many Model 3s in Australia as Toyota is selling Camrys. I wonder if maybe incentives have anything to do with this? Very likely. Staying with the UK, Audi has added several more charging companies to its service, one card, one account. Basically, a super account with an RFID card that unlocks access to 17,500 public chargers across the United Kingdom. That means that Audi e-tron owners have access to almost 75% of the UK's public charging points. This is great, and something I wish a company here would do. Tesla. Sort of. In that, yeah, you had the one account, you got the one card, and if you go to, let's say, ChargeFox, EV chargers, ChargePoint, Tesla, you only just use that one RFID card and it all goes to that one bank account that you have. And if you ever got yourself a brand new debit or credit card and the expiry date has expired, obviously on the previous card, you know how annoying it is having to update the details of that card at every single place you've got an account with? Frustrating, right? I mean, obviously, I would like it even more if we could just tap and pay with a credit card at these, places. That'd be even better. But nonetheless, I do like what Audi is doing here, and I'd be curious to see if they actually do the same thing in Australia. VW has confirmed that the all-electric Cupra Born will come to Australia as soon as possible. Read early 2022. Great, but seriously, I'd rather see the ID3 and the ID4 down here. Don't we all? Anyhow, featuring 3 battery and 2 electric motor configurations, the mid-range comes at 58 kWh battery with an acceleration from 0 to 100 in 6.6 seconds and 420 km of range. Step up to the 170 kW or 310 Nm with e-Boost performance pack, and link that with a 77 kWh battery for 540 km of range. I think the Born looks great. It's small, maybe like Ford Escape, or who remembers the Holden Barina? I used to have one. It kind of looks like that, doesn't it? It actually looks maybe small. I'm not really sure, but everything about this car ticks my boxes. Modern, sharp lines, attractive profile, high rear, slick interior with like a VW inspired dash and little side view, what do you call that little monitor there. It has accents that I think are on trend today, but who knows how those diamond things will stack up with cleaning and maybe in 10 years time when they've collected a decade's worth of dust, grime and other muck that just comes with cars. But nonetheless, this is great news and yet another addition to our roads soon with I think a good looking EV. Question is, how much? This week, one of the stories I wanted to cover on my channel, again, I can only stretch myself so far, is AMEC's ruling that could mean homeowners with solar power will have to pay to export their electricity to the grid, to be used most likely by the next door neighbour. Yeah, solar penetration in Australia is roughly, well, it's quite high, about 25%, but this ruling is bad. Whilst your state or even your electricity provider may elect to not charge this new charge, yeah, you know what I mean. I doubt very much that private companies will absorb this new tax or charge that AMEC has given the green light to. A bit of background. On Thursday, the AEMC delivered its long-awaited final controversial plan to charge household and businesses the ability to sell the excess solar power into the grid. Advocates of the new charge have argued that export charges are necessary to help fund much-needed upgrades to electricity networks, and that electricity companies had complained that they've been unable to keep with the surging uptake of rooftop solar, resulting in many households having their output curtailed. Ash, one of my producers, he can attest to it. I think his home, from memory, is limited to just 1.5 kilowatts of power, so yeah, it happens. AMEC says that in response to its draft proposal, that is to charge households and businesses for the ability to sell power to the grid, it introduced new requirements on network companies to actively accommodate rooftop solar into the future proofing of the network. Great, but don't we already pay in our bills transmission lines, infrastructure and more? Australia has one of the highest costs of electricity in the entire world, and it makes me mad that these multi-billion dollar companies are crying foul when in fact they're doing the bare minimum to keep existing infrastructure up to date, let alone cope with little tiny rooftop solar boys and girls, that is us, and charging the end consumer with what is, I think, realistically a massive infrastructure problem. Oh, and side note, there's already actually a solution and it's pretty cheap. At very low cost, less than 1% of its regulated revenue, or $32 million out of a total $3.9 billion, South Australia Power Networks have developed a dynamic operating envelope system to ensure that exports into the grid from solar, EVs or any other device won't breach any network capacity limits. I think it's like a behind the meter technology, and in that if you've got too much solar right now, nowhere to put it, flick, export stopped, network transmission and infrastructure protected. Yep. This cheap solution of dynamic operating envelopes or flexible exports adjust exports or imports of electricity from each consumer's premise on a 1 or 5 minute basis, so there's no strain on the grid. What's more, comparable software and systems for dynamic operating envelopes are currently being trialled in South Australia, Queensland, New South Wales and many other places. Just think, the South Australian Tesla VPP is currently solving this rooftop solar issue with just a small proportion of their revenue. To me, that indicates the actual cost of incorporating rooftop solar into the grid is actually quite low, and it raises questions around the need to add solar export charges onto consumers. Energy planners need to encourage households to export from the solar and batteries and EVs at a certain time of the day, and help push Australia to 100% renewable energy. And this determination by AEMC is the wrong one, or perhaps the wrong market. Slapping a charge on households is absolutely counterproductive. Have you seen this video of the world's first pure electric Hyper GT, the automobile Pininfarina Battista? With more than 1400 kilowatts of power or 1900 horsepower, 2300 newton meters of torque, this hypercar with hyper price can do 0 to 100 km per hour in less than 2 seconds. Capable of 450 kilometers on one charge with a 120 kilowatt hour lithium-ion battery pack. I've covered this car previously, but this new footage is just great, isn't it? Only 150 Battistas will be individually handcrafted at the Pininfarina factory in Turin, Italy. I've left all the links to these stories below, so please do go check them out, and thanks for your support once again, and I'll see you very soon.